What's going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the Bearded Comic Bro, and today we're talking Bad Idea Comics. That's right. I was walking around my LCS the other day, and I saw this promotional comic out, and I asked the store owner, what is this all about? And he told me a little bit about Bad Idea Comics. So I went home, decided to see if anyone else was talking about it, and all of this stuff was dropping about 10 months ago, and I was oblivious to it. Now their release schedule is just a month away, and so I figured it was time to talk about Bad Idea Comics again and see who's excited for the release in March. So with that being said, let's talk comics.
Oh, I'm a bit of Wildcard. Wow. I'm a bit of Wildcard.
Welcome back, gang. So we are going to be looking at Bad Idea Comics, and I figured if you are like me and you don't know a lot about it, hopefully this video will help. So we'll talk about the company very briefly, but we're going to focus in on the comics that are coming out in this first wave of their releases starting here in March. So Bad Idea Comics, they're trying to do this whole new strategy. When it was first announced like 10, 12 months ago, they were going to be like 20 to 50 shops. I believe their shop count is close to 150 now. It still is pretty exclusive. They're doing no digital releases. They're doing no trades. They're doing no hardcovers. They're doing no variant covers. It's prestige format. It's what you're getting is what you see is what you're getting. This book and that's it. And they're making a deal with comic shops that for the first month, you can't sell the book above cover price. A lot of them are $3.99. I think a couple of the one-shots are $5.99. But it's very simple. If the shop has to go into agreement with them that you can't sell it above cover price the first month. And you can only sell one copy to a customer a day. This is going to be an interesting thing, right? Like, they want to let people get the books. However, they're doing such a short run that these initial books are probably going to be hard to get sometimes, and it'll be interesting to see. I don't know what the number count is, but for example, if you're like me and live in Ohio, I have 6 or 7 comic shops within a 20-minute radius of me. But there are only 4 shops in all of Ohio that are getting Bad Idea Comics. And so it still is going to be hard to get some of these books if you don't have a shop around you that's carrying it. And that goes throughout the states. There's some that have 1, there's some that have 2. You can go to their website and you can see a list of all the states and all the shops in those states that are carrying Bad Idea Comics. They're putting these rules in place with shops about 1 per customer, 1 per day, so that they can make sure fans are getting the books. But is it also they're trying to get some promotion, get some hype around it so they can start to get more out? I don't know. But I will tell you this. I saw this promotional comic and it got me excited. The first book that they're dropping in March, it's called Eniac. I think that's how you say it. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But this book is written by Matt Kent and the art is done by Doug Braithwaite. The idea of this book is that we created this defense to stop from wars and things like that, making this first supercomputer. And obviously, now things are going awry with that, and so they got to send a covert team in to deal with this. If you've seen any of the art pages, if you look at these, they're just beautiful. They're just gorgeous. And I'm excited to see what this is. So this is going to be a 4-issue series. And the first one comes in March. Then coming in April, we have the second issue of Eniac, as well as a new series. And this is going to be one of 3 books from this series, and it's called Tankers. This is written by Robert Vendetti, and the art is done by Juan Jose Rep. And I'm sure I'm butchering names. This story sounds bonkers. It's tankers, and you have an oil company who's realizing that we are at the end of our petroleum reserve, and so they want to send these mech-style oil tankers back to this Cretaceous period. Yeah, that's right. We're talking time travel. And they are trying to get the meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs off its trajectory, so that way it can preserve all the petroleum, and we can have 500 millennia worth of petroleum. And you obviously know when you have time travel and mech suits and dinosaurs, it's going to be a bonker epic story, and I can't wait to see what this creative team does with this idea. So Tankers, the first issue, drops in April, and it should be a lot of fun. So we've talked March, we've talked April, now we're hitting May, where we get our first one-shot called Walesville. And Walesville, we've got Matt Kemp back on the seat writing the book, and Adam Polina is doing the art. And what we know about this one-shot, so this is our first one-shot that we see from Bad Idea Comics, is that a young boy falls overboard, gets swallowed by a whale, and talks about how his dad's going to be in pursuit. But what the boy did not expect to have happen was that inside this whale, he would find himself in what they call basically a whale's village. Walesville, hence the name of the book. And he's talking with a bunch of sea creatures, and it just sounds unique and interesting, and the art looks really fun. It seems like it's going to complement the story really well. So that's what the two books that are coming out. We got Walesville, the one shot, and Eniac issue 3 coming out in May. So in June we are getting issue 2 of Tankers. And then we are getting the final issue of Eniac, issue number 4, coming out in June. And then we're moving now into the last month that they have in this promotional book, and that is July. And we've got 2 new series that we're talking about in July. Up first in July, we have a book called The Lot, and this is written by Marguerite Bennett. And I think this is going to be one that horror fans are going to really dig. So The Lot is a story that takes place in 1970, and it takes place on a movie lot, a movie studio, if you will. And the director who's doing it wants everything to be really authentic and real. And he's making a horror movie, and he brings in people who deal with the occult and puts rituals onto the cameras to try to get this movie to be very authentic. Well, naturally, this horror movie that they're shooting turns into a real horror scene, and everything shuts down. The studio just closes down until today. And so we'll get to see what transpires, what's going on with this. So this seems like if you are a horror fan, this is going to be one that's right up your alley. And the last book that's in our promotional comic in July here is a book called Sleigh Bells, because obviously Christmas in July, we all need it. And this is written by Zeb Wells. And the story is, this is a tradition of a father and son who every Christmas Eve wake up at dawn and go out and do a little hunting in the Midwest. And they take down a deer, which just happens to be a famous red-nosed reindeer that we all know. And then they tried to cover it up. And let's just say Santa Claus is not happy when he finds out. And I think he's about to put some people on the naughty list. So I think this seems like a funny and unique story. So you've got a whole bunch of different stories here. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a book that you're going to like it some way. Like, I think that's what you've got, like, you know, in Walesville, you've got more of probably the dark comedy in Sleigh Bells. You've got the horror in The Lot. You've got Eniac, which is, you know, sci-fi and sci-fi horror probably. You've got Tankers, which deals with time travel and mech suit. Like, I mean, I think they're just kind of trying to do a wide variety of stories to see what people like. So that is what we got in the promotional comic here, talking about this new series, Bad Idea Comics. So, gang, is your shop carrying the books? Are you going to be on the hunt for these books? Do you like this new strategy model that this company is trying to put out? Do you think it's a good idea, or is bad idea a bad idea? With that being said, hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.